And the final artifact for Standard 4 Advocacy and Leadership is a website that I created in the fall of 2014 for Library Science 5013. Now, the website was created for kind of East Central Junior High Library. I used Google Sites to create and share the website. I included library announcements, weekly schedule, and educational resources. So kind of on the first page, we've got that, library announcement, library schedule. And then over to the side, we've got some different pages for resources, community resources, student and parent resources. One of the links allows students and staff members to make recommendations for materials. I've also, I want, we got teachers also. I wanted students and staff to feel like they were making a part, they were involved in the library curriculum. And so they can make recommendations for books to find, and then they can also write book reviews. And these two links, this one specifically, the reviews, I will use to put some reviews up right here, change the book for the book club each month, and then searching. These will be books that I use when I'm thinking of when I have additional funds to increase library collection. So the website is meant as a outreach tool for the library, reaching community members, parents, staff, etc. I believe that this document, this website, touches on Standard 4.2, professional development, and 4.4, advocacy. Specifically 4.2, I think it's more of an informal professional development, but I think if we look at these teacher websites, we've got some websites right here that are useful to enhancing their curriculum. We've got a link to that Bloom's Meets Digital Media, kind of featuring some best practice websites or tools to improve their content, improve their curriculum, improve their instruction. And then also a link to the digital media webpage. But this whole page is meant to facilitate a discussion about best practice and facilitate teachers going out there and being able to locate stuff that will help them become better teachers. And while I don't have anything on here right now, I would also use this as a place to showcase actual professional development opportunities like that tech plugin that my teachers could attend. So I would also make that, that would be in this kind of page as well. So I think that it's more of an informal approach to professional development, but I think that these tools kind of are a step towards that professional development. So I think it kind of meets that 4.2 professional development piece, because it's promoting professional development and it's assisting teachers in locating resources to help them. And then 4.4, the library website is a terrific tool for community outreach. Included on the website are announcements asking for volunteers in the library, resources to assist student learning, and upcoming community dates. At the beginning of each school year, what I would do is I would email the local community organizations and send home flyers with students to promote the library website and tools available. And that would assist me in establishing positive working relationships with community members and enhance student learning. But this page right here, I'm really advocating. I'm trying to reach those community members that can come in and help. And then with the student and parent resource page, that's where I'm specifically targeting parents to help their students. But the goal between the student parent research page and the resource page and the community page, these two right here, the point of those is to advocate my program in the library, to advocate what I can do, what the library can do, and what, how I can help them help their kids. So how did this experience help me as an educator? Well, Tulsa Public Schools gives us websites, and I'll be honest, I don't use mine. I don't touch it. I haven't been to it. I can't even tell you what the web address is without going through my email and finding it from where they send it to me every year. But this assignment helped me understand that a website can be really a valuable tool. And it can be easy to, update really quick. It allows parents and community members to stay up to date on their child's education and can provide additional resources for students who struggle. It's a great resource for parents and community members who are busy working during the school day and are unable to reach out to the school during working hours. As a librarian, I can see the benefit of advocating the library program with the website. As a teacher, I can also see the benefits of advocating your class and your curriculum for parents and communicating and helping parents better their children. So I think this assignment helped me understand why the website's there, why TPS gives it to us, and helped me to understand that for this year, I really need to make that happen. And so I've already started working on implementing, some of the things I've learned from doing this, but in creating a website that reaches out to parents and community to bring them into my classroom, to showcase what we're learning, to showcase my teaching. And so what this assignment helped me understand what a website should do and why I need it for my classroom. Now, if I could change this again, as I look over, I realize that I left off two big things that could have really been beneficial. The first piece of information that I didn't include was data. I didn't put any data related to student achievement, related to how the library can affect student achievement. So I think that if I were to redo this assignment again, I would definitely include some data. As I'm thinking to my own classroom my own classroom website for this upcoming year, I'm going to want to include some data, post-test data, pre-test data, but I'm going to want to include some data to back up what we're doing in my classroom. And the second thing that I didn't do on this website is I didn't advocate, I didn't include the Tulsa Public Library. And I think this website, specifically the student parent resources and the community outreach, would be a great place for me to put some links to the public library, communicate with the public librarian about upcoming events, kind of make them big, make them important, showcase them on my website, and advocate for that library, because what happens in the public library can happen in our library. And I think that having a working relationship with the public librarian and the school librarian, you can really enhance student learning and extend that learning outside the traditional classroom walls. So if I were to do it again, I would definitely add data, and I would definitely work with the public librarian. That's what I would do again. Now, that's all of my standards that's all of my artifacts for Standard 4. And so that takes us to the final standard, Standard 5, Program Management and Administration. And I've got three artifacts for program management and program management and administration. The first one is case study. It's a case study that I did. Facility redesign, and then a weeding project. So case study, facility redesign, weeding project. We're going to start with case study. Now, the case study is a assignment that I was to complete in the fall of 2014 during my Library Science 5013 course. And I was asked to conduct an interview with a current librarian, not the librarian at East Central Junior High, but a librarian that I didn't know, a library that I wasn't familiar with. And so I spoke with the Rhodes Elementary librarian, Miss Alicia Baker. She has been at the Broken Arrow School for a few years and is in the process of running a successful library media program. I conducted the case study via interview, and it was done over the phone. She is currently a full-time librarian and a PhD student at Oklahoma State University, and I am a full-time teacher at East Central Junior High. So we weren't able to speak in person. We had to do it online just because of school, OSU, teaching, all of that jazz. But Rhodes Elementary is the only Title I school in the Broken Arrow School District. And so I was able to have a foot in the door. I understood Title I, but I didn't understand elementary. I've never done that. And I didn't, I had little experience understanding like how to run a library. This was actually my first library class in in my degree. So I conducted the interview, and as I was conducting it, I was looking for strategies and ideas that I could take back to my current school setting and my own library when I graduate now. And so I think that this particular case study addressed 3 of the Standard 5 competencies. Standard 5 requires the library media specialist to plan, develop, implement, and evaluate school programs. Prior to conducting the case study, I had very little understanding of how these components worked. Though through our interview, I was able to gain valuable knowledge into managing a quality program. 5.1 is collections. I began the interview with questions about the current library collection at Rhodes Elementary. Alicia Baker and I discussed the current size of her library, the types of materials in the library, and how much the library collection had grown in the past 3 years. After discussing the current collection, we discussed how Alicia Baker decides what to weed out of the library and what new materials to bring into the library. We discussed technologies available in the library, ebooks, and finally we discussed when discussing the library collection, we talked about how she handles checking out materials, that whole process, checking in materials, and just the general cataloging of her library. And then 5.3, we also discussed personnel, funding, and facilities. After discussing the collection, we discussed funding. She explained how she received a large amount of money from a bond passed a few years ago, and how this drastically improved the library, and that she's able to make additional money after the bonds with her book fair money. So we talked about budgeting. We also talked about personnel. She had a library assistant and 2 student aides, and I was able to gain an understanding of the tasks that can be delegated to an assistant versus a student aide in order to leave more time to collaborate with classroom teachers, but also maintain the security and of student records. Finally, we had 5.4 strategic planning and assessments was addressed with the case study. As we began to wrap up our interview, Alicia Baker and I discussed the collaboration that occurs at Rhodes Elementary. This was especially useful as I had very little collaboration with the school librarian at my own site. Alicia Baker discussed that classes come to the library daily, lessons that she is currently planning with various teachers, and checkout scheduling. So she gave me an understanding of how it functions on a day-to-day basis, which I had no knowledge of prior to conducting the case study. So how did this help me as a professional educator? I've been in a classroom for 6 years when I did this study, now 7. And during this time, my school site has gone through 3 librarians. We don't have a good library program. And although the current library is improving quickly, I had very little knowledge of how a successful library actually functioned. The case study allowed me to focus on one library and see that what success is and what success is not. I was able to attain a great amount of knowledge and ideas that I have since taken back to the school library at East Central Junior High. I have many other ideas about how to manage the library filed away in my brain, waiting for the day that I have my own library. I was really able to gain some insight into what it looks like to run a library with a librarian that's in the position for more than 1 year. So if I were to change it again, the case study was by far the most effective assignment that I had up to this point in showcasing how the library should function. But because of scheduling conflicts, I was not able to meet with her in person and really witness a lesson being taught, or witness checking out and checking in materials, witness handling, ordering books, witness cleaning the library. I wasn't able to witness anything. It was just verbal. So if I were to do this again, I would really, really want to go to the library, see the library, put my hands on the books in her collection and see what she does with my own 2 eyes. So if I were to do this again, that would be my #1 goal, is to be able to go, to be able to take off the time and go and see it, and not just do it verbally via a phone interview.